Welcome to Our Weird World. I am your host, John Henson, and it is week 2 of the Summer of Cults, and we are going to be talking about Keith Raniere and NXIVM. Like last week, it was a pretty popular documentary that came out. This one, I think, came out on HBO. It was one of those ones that, because of the pandemic, got a ton of extra attention because no one else had anything better to do. But we're going to dive into this group's history right now.
Story time. Story time. Story time? Story time.
Keith Raniere was born on August 26th, 1960 in Brooklyn, New York. Although his mother, quote unquote, drank more than she should have, Raniere had a pretty normal childhood. And now I feel like a lot of these episodes start with the main character and their parents being abusive alcoholics. And I feel like alcohol has been demonized a little bit on this show, but just, through a lot of these true crime stories as kind of like the starting source point for why everything went horribly wrong. And listen, I think that it's not. I'm very much a guns don't kill people, people kill people sort of thing, and they just use guns to do it. I don't think alcohol is necessarily a terrible thing. I think alcohol in the hands or mouth of certain people is a lot worse than others, but that can be said for literally anything. Knives in the hands of the wrong people can be bad. Other times knives are good for just cutting your steak. Right? What else? Rat poison and arsenic, it can do a lot of great things, namely killing rats. It can also kill people if the wrong people get a hold of it. There's just all kinds of stuff like that, right? And so, listen, if you like to drink, go for it, man. Personally, I still have not found alcohol that I particularly enjoy yet, but I do enjoy making my own shed whiskey. All right, just finished up a batch a couple weeks ago, and it was a thing. It was a thing. And so, so I don't want it to seem like I'm some teetotaling holier than thou person just based on my view of alcohol. I don't care. Like, if you want to drink. And I also don't think that just because someone was raised in a house of abusive alcoholics means that is the sole reason or the primary source for why they became a human trash pile later in life. But that's just how we as a society are. I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, Raniere's parents, other than drinking more than they should have, showered him with praise and told him how gifted and intelligent he was, which is exactly what you do if you want to raise a sociopath or someone who writes a lot of books on people like Keith Raniere, like I did. Listen, that to me That's the bigger issue than just drinking, right? Than the alcoholism, right? Like filling your kid's head with all of these nonsensical ideas about how great they are. Oh, you're so great. You're so gifted. You're so intelligent. I do that. You're going to raise subjects. We've seen that a lot. All right. I was very conflicted growing up because on one hand, you know, my mom and my grandparents are just like, oh my God, you're so amazing. You're so smart. My early teachers, it's like, oh, he's so gifted. We should get him tested. Not that kind of test, but like, you know, a gifted intelligence test. And then on the other hand, I had, you know, other teachers and administrators later in life are like, you suck. You're terrible. You're nothing without the help of Jesus. You should just die, but don't die without accepting Jesus as your savior. You'll go to hell, and don't kill yourself because you'll just automatically go to hell anyway. So like, I was very conflicted. So like, it kind of balanced everything out. You know, like, sure, I write a lot of books because I am intelligent and gifted like that, but I don't promote them because I think they're trash. So it works out. I don't think I'm gifted and intelligent. So like, I just don't think people care about the things I do. Well, then John, why are you hosting this podcast? Because I enjoy the act of podcasting. This is the hobby that I do. And if you like it, great. But if you don't, I don't know. I'm not going to know any better, you know? So that's how that goes. Anyway, I'm done with the tangents. We're going to get into the story. So along with being told that he was the greatest human on earth, Raniere also read Isaac Asimov's book, Second Foundation, which we've all read it, right? We know that it deals with mind control and helps make it feel like you are smart enough to be able to just manipulate and control other people. Well, that's what happened to Keith Raniere. He reads Isaac Asimov's book, and now he thinks he has the ability to manipulate people and control people with his mind, do mind control with his mind. You get it. By the time he graduated from the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, Raniere was telling everyone who would listen about how great he was, which, oh, God, how does that work, right? Just like, hey, guys, I'm Keith. I'm like the greatest person ever. You're really going to love me. I am so smart. You're going to be blown away about how smart I am. Let's go hang out at this cool little dive bar down there. I discovered it. And the owner gives me free drinks all the time because even he can't believe how good. Blah, gross. Like, I'm not hanging out with that guy. He sucks. He would go on and he would start claiming that he spoke full sentences at a year old, that he taught himself concert piano by age 12, mastered high school math in just 19 hours. At what age? I don't know. Won the East Coast Judo Championship at age 12, set the record for the 100-yard dash in high school, and graduated from the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute with degrees in math, physics, and biology. The only thing out of all of those statements that is verifiably true is that he got a degree in biology, not math and physics as well, just the biology degree. There's no record of the East Coast Judo Championship saying that anyone named Keith Raniere won. I don't know how, none of his high school records say that he held the record for the 100-yard dash. I mean, what is a full sentence at a year old? You know, like a full sentence could still just be like one or two words. You know, it's just like, Mom, help. That's it. That's a full sentence. All right. And some 1-year-olds can do that. I don't know. Mine didn't, but that's okay. He's still a good boy. Anyway, at age 24, Raniere began a relationship with 15-year-old Gina Melita after the two met in a theater group at RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. When that relationship ended, Melita introduced Raniere to Gina Hutchinson, who was also 15, because why not? Just keep doing things that are super illegal and creepy. Hutchinson's older sister confronted the two when she found out that they were having sex with each other. And in response, Raniere told her that Hutchinson was, quote, a Buddhist goddess meant to be with him. I'm Keith. I'm so smart. Your sister, your little sister, your 15-year-old little sister, me, a 24-year-old adult man. Your little sister is a Buddhist goddess and she was meant to be with me. I know this. I'm the smartest person ever. Ugh. Well, when he wasn't statutorily raping teenage girls, Raniere was deeply involved with Amway, which is this multi-level marketing company that sells various household goods. Amway, same thing as like the Cutco knives. It's a pyramid scheme. It is 1,000% a pyramid scheme. You know why? Because guess what? You get into this business because you got recruited by someone to help sell their products, right? So then you start selling your products, but then you also recruit some friends to also get involved. And then they sell products to their friends. But along the way, you keep getting a cut of the things that they sell while you also give a cut of what you sell to the guy who initially recruited you. It's like that scene in The Office where Jim literally draws out the pyramid scheme to Michael. That's how it works. That's how it works, right? Maybe Amway's products are legitimately good. I don't know, but it's a pyramid scheme, 10,000%. And you get these dinglings who are just like, I'm all about the hustle, bro. I work 80 hours a week. I get up at 4 a.m., dunk my face in a bowl of ice, and then I work out, and then I'm just sell. And I'm making bank, bro. I got the pink Avon Cadillac. I don't even sell Avon. That's just how good I am. And like, okay, cool. No one likes you. You're a loser, right? This is how it is. And you're in a pyramid scheme. You're not a self-made anything. You're just an idiot who fell for a pyramid scheme, and you just worked hard and alienated everyone out of your life to get like the base minimum of success with him. Anyway, I will get into this story eventually. I just keep getting really upset about everything. What's going on in my life right now? Whew, if you wouldn't want to know. Anyway, while he was also on his side hustle with Amway, Raniere also worked as a programmer for the New York State Division of Parole. However, he was really just more focused on Amway's business structure and trying to just, climb the ladder and be as successful as he could. By 1990, Raniere had formed his own version of Amway, Consumers Byline Incorporated, and recruited she's not a teenager anymore, but it's a legal relationship now. But he recruited Gina Hutchinson, to work for him. Shortly after its formation, Raniere met Tony Natali, I don't know, who would go on to become one of the top sellers for his company. She also eventually left her husband and began dating Raniere, who had convinced her that he was a super gifted, talented, and amazing guy who didn't used to formally statutorily rape teenage girls. But, that's fine. When New York State, along with 20 other states, began investigating Consumers Byline as a pyramid scheme, Raniere shut down the company, paid a $40,000 fine, and then formed the National Health Network, which was just another pyramid scheme, only this time they sold vitamins. I don't know what Consumers Byline sold beforehand, doesn't matter. In 1998, Tony Natali met Nancy Salzman, a trained hypnotist, and figured that she'd be a perfect addition to their little pyramid group, growing cult. Together with Salzman, Raniere founded NXIVM, which it's not how it was spelled, and it's also like not the heartburn medicine, which is crazy that they did that. But it was stylized NXIVM. Okay, I get how it's so stupid. It's NXIVM though. Where they offered quote unquote executive success programs geared towards self-improvement. And during the NXIVM seminars, students would address Raniere and Salzman as Vanguard and Prefect. It's already a cult. It's like they just started a company that was a cult and they just didn't hide it. And so over the next 5 years, nearly 4,000 people participated in various ESP classes, including former Surgeon General Antonio Novello, Enron executive Stephen Cooper, and allegedly, he hasn't confirmed or denied it, but billionaire Richard Branson. NXIVM's core philosophy was a 12-point mission statement that directed members to quote-unquote purge themselves of all parasitic and envy-based habits, to enroll others, pyramid scheme, and quote-unquote control as much of the money, wealth, and resources of the world as possible. So right out of the gate, they are like, we are a cult that wants to rule the entire world. That's what that means. Purge yourself of all parasitic and envy-based habits, meaning give up everything and devote everything to the cult. and then enroll others, recruit other members to the cult, and control as much of the money, wealth, and resources of the world as possible. Take over the world. Whoa. Okay. Classes would be conducted for 12 hours every day for 16 days at a price tag of $7,500. People who ended up rejecting Raniere and his ideas were labeled as Luciferians that were actively impeding NXIVM's progress. Some students were even told that in past lives, they were high-ranking Nazis, and that wasn't like an insult. Everyone was just like completely okay with this. I don't get it, but whatever. So they're not shy about being a cult, and they're like, hey, some of you were Nazis in a past life, and now you're here, and we're going to take over the world. So you failed the first time, but we're going to get it right this time. Anyway, as students completed each course, they were awarded a different colored sash, like the worst karate dojo of all time. Each color represented a different level of enlightenment that ranged from student all the way up to senior counselor. You only received sashes based on how many courses you paid to attend. Only 3 people ever made it to the purple level, and authorities speculate that those 3 people paid well over $5 million to get there. So it's not like you were like really enlightened. You just paid the most money. So and God, if that's not a metaphor for society, right? Like the more you pay, the more enlightened you become. Anyway, when he wasn't brainwashing NXIVM members, Raniere was out trying to be an inventor, which was a big selling point for him in the NXIVM recruiting process. He claimed to have nearly 150 patents pending all over the world, and he used the language patent pending to make stupid people think that his inventions were a done deal. In reality, he wasn't inventing anything. He was just filing patents for super generic things like treadmills and video conferencing software, which were always rejected because those things had already been invented. All right. So look, that's the thing. That's how, and again, it's these people who are really good with woo and really good charismatic people who can just make you believe that they're the greatest person in the world, and they're not doing anything. He's just like, yeah, man, I'm a really big inventor. I've got over 150 patents pending right now for all kinds of things. And what is he doing? He's just filing patents for like things like headphones and coasters and tape dispensers. And they're always getting rejected because they already exist. He's not like inventing a new version of those things. He's just writing down. And again, it probably costs like a couple $100 to file for a patent. And he's got all that money because he's getting thousands of dollars from these bogus courses that he's making. So, oh God, I hate this guy so much. In 2002, Gina Hutchinson rekindled her relationship with Raniere and began participating in the NXIVM classes herself. She apparently didn't like where things were going and shot herself in the head 2 months later at a nearby Buddhist monastery. Raniere denied any involvement in this. Of course not. A month after Hutchinson's suicide, 35-year-old Kristen Snyder enrolled in one of the 16-day sessions that was being run by Nancy Salzman in Anchorage, Alaska. Although NXIVM had been headquartered in Albany, New York, higher-ranking members were allowed to just go out and open their own satellite branches all over the country. For whatever reason, in the months following her NXIVM session, Kristen Snyder came to believe that she had been responsible for the Columbia shuttle disaster that had recently happened. And Snyder then enrolled in a second session and began claiming that she was pregnant with Raniere's child. Some people think that that's actually true. Well, we don't know. However, a few days later, Snyder's vehicle was found 120 miles away in Seward, Alaska, with a note reading, quote, "I was brainwashed and my emotional center of the brain was killed/turned off. I still have feeling in my external skin, but my internal organs are rotting. I'm sorry, life. I didn't know I was already dead. May we persist into the future." Whoa, what? Also, 2 of Raniere's other girlfriends, because he had several at any given time because he's a cult leader, they also died from what was believed to be cancer at the time. However, future investigations would assert that the women had been subtly poisoned over several, weeks or, months at a time. This theory came from another woman who had lived with Raniere who had been diagnosed with bladder cancer. Lab results from a hair sample revealed dangerous levels of bismuth and barium, which apparently cause cancer in high enough doses, whatever. Basically, but that it would not be surprising if Raniere was actively poisoning his girlfriends with like subtle elements like that. In October 2003, Forbes published an article profiling NXIVM and Raniere. Although they were expecting a glowing article full of praise and adoration for the great work they were doing, kind of like, a couple of weeks ago with, really for the last couple of weeks with the Elan School and then Rajneesh Puram, cult members were shocked when the Forbes articles came out to find it accusing them of being a cult, which they totally were. But this came as a shock to people. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean a cult? Sure, we have to devote all of our life and energy and resources to this group. Sure, we have to go out and recruit members. Sure, our main focus is to control all the wealth and resources of the world. But that doesn't, we're not a cult. We're not. Oh God, we're a cult. Anyway, the biggest critic was former member Edgar Bronfman, who was heir to the Seagram's fortune. Seagram's, the sea breezes and the whiskey and all that. Anyway, his two daughters had taken out a $2 million line of credit and then just given it as a loan to NXIVM. And of course, he's not going to be happy about that. In 2017, so we're fast forwarding now 14 years, word got out about Dominus Obsequious Sororium, a secret sisterhood within NXIVM in which female members were called slaves, were required to provide nude photos of themselves to NXIVM as collateral, and then were branded with the initials of Raniere and actress Allison Mack, best known for her role on Smallville. So this is what I was talking about in the teaser last week. Over the past 14 years in this group, he keeps recruiting all these women. He's got these other high-ranking women who in turn recruit other women. And Allison Mack, who was a star in the TV show Smallville, she is part of this cult. And additional details about the cult and their sex trafficking operations eventually led to Raniere's arrest in March of 2018. Allison Mack was arrested a month later on accusations that she forced women that she recruited to the cult to have sex with Raniere. In July, Nancy Salzman and her daughter, among others, were arrested for racketeering. So, not even really the Forbes article. It just all of a sudden, these rumors started going around that, hey, this NXIVM group, they're sex trafficking and branding women. And there's this little group, this cult within the cult of all these women who were just banging this dude. And then it just blew up really quickly. As Raniere awaited trial, 6 NXIVM members under the name We Are As You organized dance protests outside the jail where Raniere was being held. One of the dancers was Canadian actress Nikki Klein, who was known for her role in Battlestar Galactica. Klein was another one of Raniere's girlfriends and was actually married to Allison Mack. In October of 2020, 56 NXIVM members wrote letters to the sentencing judge who was actually defending Raniere's actions. He's like, no, judge. Did he have sex with all of us? Yes. All right. Did some of his girlfriends die under mysterious circumstances? Yes. But we're all happy. We're all wealthy. It's fine. None of it mattered though. Raniere was ultimately convicted and given 120 years in prison. Since then, he has filed appeals and counter lawsuits. One of the things was that he was also supposed to pay restitution for some of his victims. He was already fined $1.75 million. But then in 2021, it was ruled that 21 victims should receive a total of $3.46 million in restitution. This was supposed to cover scarification from the branding that these women got, ongoing mental health care, and making, quote unquote, making labor trafficking victims whole, whatever that means. Also, all lower ranking members of this cult within the cult were entitled to the return of their collateral, i.e. the return of the nude photos that they had to give over, and all of that. So Raniere tried to appeal this because he's just a dickhead. But the appeal was rejected because there was insufficient evidence to sustain any of his arguments, right? as of right now, or at least, as of this publication, there is another lawsuit against him. Raniere and several other NXIVM leaders were named as defendants in a civil suit that was filed in a federal court by 80 former NXIVM members. It detailed allegations of fraud and abuse and charges related to NXIVM being a pyramid scheme, which we knew, exploitation of its recruits, conducting illegal human experiments. I hope we get to learn more about that later. And making it, quote, physically and psychologically difficult, and in some cases impossible, to leave the coercive community. So this dude just needs to rot in prison forever.
All done.
All right, Keith Raniere and NXIVM in the books. Let's recap and see what we learned today.
What did we learn?
Number one, NXIVM, spelled NXIVM, because you gotta be cool in New Age and whatever. Number two, it was a pyramid scheme, 1,000% a pyramid scheme, just like Amway, just like Cutco, just like all of it. And what's crazy is like they weren't even shy about them being a cult. Granted, Keith Raniere, no one ever's like, yeah, we're a cult, but like, though all of it's there. Like you go and recruit members, like their main mission is to control the wealth and resources of the world. Like that is the cultiest thing you can do. Like that's just an evil organization. But it's weird because it was like mostly women, and then they're just all banging Keith Raniere. So I don't know. Number three, like I said, they're recruiting a lot of women and apparently some famous actresses. Allison Mack, was Nikki Klein, from Smallville and Battlestar Galactica. Like they had some reach. And so, like I said up front, go watch the HBO documentary, The Vow, to get more info on this group.
What did we learn?
Next week on Our Weird World, Summer of Cult continues with the Order of the Solar Temple. Ooh, what did they do? Well, they're a cult. They're burying the lead here, but we'll see what they did. So that's it. Thanks for continuing to listen. Keep telling all your friends and keep it weird.
This is a podcast